Islamabad and Washington have formalized a new security pact focused on hardening the western border. Following a high-level meeting between Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi and a U.S. delegation led by Chargé d'Affaires Natalie Baker, the U.S. has agreed to equip Pakistan's border security agencies and coast guards with modern surveillance technology. The deal also includes expanded training for the Federal Investigation Agency's counter-terrorism wing, aiming to curb the cross-border movement of militants and illicit finance. The Pakistan Armed Forces have declared full readiness for multi-domain operations, MDO, a significant doctrinal shift integrating land, air, maritime, and cyber warfare into a single unified battle network. Military officials state this capability allows for the synchronization of kinetic strikes with non-kinetic actions, such as electronic warfare and information operations. The readiness was validated during recent exercises which focused on data fusion, linking sensors to shooters in real time to overwhelm enemy decision-making cycles. The Indian Ministry of Defence has greenlit a $1.1 billion acquisition to procure 6 new flight refueling aircraft, FRA. The deal, awarded to Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI, involves converting pre-owned Boeing 767s into multi-mission tanker transports. This urgent purchase aims to replace the Indian Air Force's aging Russian Il-78 fleet, which has suffered from chronic serviceability issues, thereby extending the strategic reach of its Rafale and Su-30 Mk fighter squadrons. President Donald Trump has formally invited Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif to join the newly constituted Gaza Board of Peace. The Foreign Office confirmed receipt of the invitation, which places Pakistan alongside other key regional players in overseeing the reconstruction and governance of the Gaza Strip. This move is seen as an attempt by the White House to leverage Pakistan's diplomatic standing in the Muslim world to legitimize the post-conflict roadmap, despite the complex domestic political risks for Islamabad. From Gwadar to Washington, this is Pak Geo Defense Update, Pakistan's voice in the world of defense and geopolitics. Please subscribe. We move to the volatile Central Asian frontier, where Tajikistan's security services have engaged and neutralized 4 armed militants attempting to cross from Afghanistan. The incident occurred in the southern Katlan region, a mountainous area that has seen a sharp rise in infiltration attempts over the past month. Tajik authorities identified the individuals as members of a terrorist group heavily armed with assault rifles and communication equipment. Dushanbe has expressed growing frustration with the Taliban interim government's inability to secure the Afghan side of the border. This skirmish is the latest in a series of deadly encounters that have pushed Tajikistan to mobilize additional border guard units. Analysts warn that the spillover effect from Afghanistan is intensifying, forcing Central Asian states to adopt a more aggressive shoot-to-kill policy to prevent insurgent cells from establishing footholds in the Fergana Valley. In the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the skies over the King Abdulaziz Air Base are roaring with activity as the Pakistan Air Force's F-16 Block 52 fighter jets arrive for the multinational Spears of Victory 2026 exercise. This year's edition is one of the largest in the region, featuring air forces from the US, UK, France, and Gulf partners. The deployment of Pakistan's top-tier Block 52s highlights the strategic depth of the Islamabad-Riyadh defense partnership. The exercise focuses on large force employment scenarios, simulating complex air-to-air combat and suppression of enemy air defenses, SEAD, in a saturated electronic warfare environment. For the PAF, this is a critical opportunity to validate interoperability with NATO standard assets and refine tactics against diverse threat simulations. The participation underscores Pakistan's role as a primary security provider in the Gulf, reinforcing the extended deterrence concept, discussed in recent diplomatic circles. A major arms race is accelerating in South Asia. Reports confirm that India is finalizing a colossal $36 billion deal for 114 additional Rafale fighter jets to meet its long-pending multi-role fighter aircraft, MRFA, requirement. This massive acquisition, intended to arrest the depletion of Indian squadron numbers, has triggered an immediate strategic countermove from Pakistan. Islamabad has reportedly fast-tracked its own next-generation procurement, specifically the J-35 stealth fighter program from China. Defense sources indicate that Pakistan is no longer looking for parity in numbers but is pursuing technological asymmetry. The recent confirmation by Chinese state media of the J-10C's combat success against Western platforms has emboldened this shift. The introduction of the J-35 would provide Pakistan with a fifth-generation stealth capability years before India's indigenous AMCA becomes operational, effectively neutralizing the advantage New Delhi hopes to gain from its expanded Rafale fleet. A geopolitical pivot is unfolding in Iran. India has effectively initiated the liquidation of its stakes in the strategic Chabahar port project. The decision comes as the U.S. sanctions waiver for the port is set to expire in April 2026 without renewal. Facing the threat of secondary sanctions from the Trump administration, New Delhi is winding down operations at the Shahid Beheshti terminal. The state-owned India Ports Global Limited, IPGL, has already seen board resignations and a halt to investment flows. This exit marks a significant strategic setback for India, which had envisioned Chabahar as its gateway to Central Asia, bypassing Pakistan. The withdrawal leaves a vacuum that China is expected to fill, potentially integrating the port into its Belt and Road Initiative. For Pakistan, this reduces the competitive threat to Gwadar and reasserts the primacy of its overland routes for Afghan and Central Asian trade. In New Delhi, the Reserve Bank of India has floated a revolutionary proposal for the upcoming 2026 BRICS summit, the creation of a unified BRICS digital currency framework. Sources reveal the plan involves linking the central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, of member states to facilitate real-time, cross-border settlements. The objective is to create a swift alternative that insulates member economies from dollar weaponization and sanctions. While India has historically been cautious about de-dollarization, the shifting global trade winds have forced a pragmatism. The proposal suggests a hub-and-spoke model where trade invoices, such as oil purchases from Russia or electronics from China, can be settled directly in digital local currencies without an intermediate dollar conversion. If adopted, this system could fracture the global financial order, offering the Global South a sanction-proof payment rail that significantly diminishes Western economic leverage. Tensions in the Middle East have triggered a rapid U.S. military buildup. The Pentagon has deployed a fresh squadron of F-15E Strike Eagles and KC-135 Stratotankers to the Muwafaq Salti Air Base in Jordan. This deployment serves as a direct signal to Tehran following recent missile posturing in the Strait of Hormuz. The F-15s bring deep strike capability, while the tankers extend their range to cover the entire Iranian plateau. Defense analysts view this as a defensive crouch turned aggressive. By positioning these high-value assets in Jordan rather than the more vulnerable bases in the Gulf, the U.S. is hardening its strike posture while maintaining a degree of operational ambiguity. The move coincides with intelligence reports suggesting imminent proxy attacks, prompting Washington to ensure it has immediate kinetic response options available in the theater. That's enough for today. Share your thoughts in comments section, and please answer today's question.